I'd like to start with a quick addendum to the last video. When we did the offset command, we took this object, and you can see that this is several different pieces. And when we did the offset, we had to do some trimming up in this area in order to make it into one clean line without the breakups. So what we can do is take this object and use the join command, which is right here, and we can click that, or you can just simply type in join. And if we click on this again, you can see that it's now one single object. So we can now use the offset command, type in 2 for our distance, and now you can see that it simply offsets as one entire object rather than individual pieces. And this avoids us from having to do the trimming, with the exception of around the planter. This shows what your final drawing should look like, although there'll be a couple addendums that we'll get into in a moment. But first, let's talk about layers. You can see that the different objects within this drawing have different colors. And to see what those are, we'll come under Layers and go to Layer Properties. And you can see, as described in the handout, that there are several layers that you're going to be creating. Edging, which should be red, the house, blue, the joints, cyan, the pool, white, and the trees, green. Now, to create new layers, you just simply come up to the New Layer icon, or you can hit Alt-N, but let's just click on the icon, and you can see a new layer appear, and we're going to call this Shrubs. Now, because I happen to have this under the Trees layer, it's taken that color and applied it to this, and that's exactly what we want. In some cases, if you're located elsewhere in the list, it will provide you with a different color. To change colors, you just simply click on the color, and you can make this yellow or blue, cyan, any color. We're going to keep the green in this case, but want you to be using these primary colors down at the bottom, and we'll explain how those get used for creating line weights in your drawing later on. Another function you should be aware of when dealing with the layers is the ability to lock a layer. Let's say we don't want our trees to move, that those are set in place. We can simply click on the lock icon, and now if we come back to our drawing and zoom in, and if we're going to select several objects that we wish to move, if we click and drag, you can see that the trees don't move. Let's undo that. But these can't be selected and altered now because that layer is locked. So this can be handy, again, if you have a very complex drawing and you wish to move around elements within it, but there are things that you wish to remain fixed. Simply lock that layer. Your task is going to be taking this drawing and creating all of the lines that you see and that are shown on the plan in your handout with all of the dimensions illustrated here. Now, to illustrate one piece of this, let's go through the process of creating a little shrub bed in this planter, as well as how to change the layer that an object is on. To make this shrub bed, the first thing that we're going to do is come to our shrub layer, double-click in order to make this the active layer so that what we draw comes onto that layer. Let's come up to the Draw panel, and we can select Revision Cloud. Now the options here, we can set arc length, and we'll accept this 0.5 feet for the minimum, and 1 foot for the maximum length. And so you can adjust this to almost any size. Now to create this, we can just simply come around and draw freehand, which in many cases is very useful. It's also possible to select an object and make that into a revision cloud. For example, if we go up to our other planter and zoom in, we can do the offset command and simply set this at a very small distance, let's just say 0.2 feet, and select this square and offset it. Now we can select the revcloud command. So coming under Draw, hit revcloud, and we can now just simply select Object. And if we click on this new square, you can see that it converts this into a revcloud. One of the other options that you have is to reverse direction, which can give you an inverted form if that's what you desire. If at any point in your drawing you have an object that doesn't seem to be on the correct layer, you can just simply select it, come and pick a layer, and as you can see, the layer has been changed. And we can then come and simply put this back onto our shrubs layer so that it is indeed in the right place. Best of luck in recreating Tommy Church's pool garden.